The food outlet, are there any walking paths in your neighborhood?
These are just a few of the questions collected by an online dashboard. The findings show the health status of those in our area. Emily Riley tells us more about this effort and what the information will be used for.
Brown County leaders in health coming together to unveil the new Community Health Improvement Plan, also known as the E-CHIP. It includes an interactive dashboard that allows the community to engage in local data. That data was collected through community surveys by Wello and Life Study. It focuses on 3 categories: equitable access, social cohesion, and planning and policy, key areas that can impact a person's health. The dashboard also highlights goals for community well-being. Healthcare and other community organizations are using the data to explore ways to improve the services they offer to reach those goals.
Brown County Housing Authority, the City of Green Bay, and many other housing providers and landlords to find solutions for preventing evictions and helping people get housed.
We're seeing hospitals and clinics step up and start doing work on social determinants of health and starting to ask questions that they had not been asking before that are leading them to kind of responses that are fantastic.
Renita Robinson, Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at Prevea Health, says some of the CHIP data might surprise you.
I just don't think that people recognize how much poverty, how much hunger, how much homelessness exists next door to them. You know, many people that don't have someone experiencing those things are oblivious to it.
If you'd like to explore the eChip interactive dashboard, we have a link on WBAY.com. In Green Bay, Emily Riley, Action 2 News.